Hello, you're all very welcome to this Small Firms Association webinar on our General Election Manifesto 2020. My name is Sven Spollen-Behrens, and I'd like to give you a short overview of our key asks to our new government, but I'm also going to ask of you to help us lobby the new government and talk to your election candidates to help us spread the news and spread our key asks. I'm going to now start with our presentation. We have 5 asks to the new government, and our main ask is around small businesses, the importance of small businesses to the economy, and for government, the new government, to recognize the fact that we have 267,000 small businesses in this country, employing half of the private sector workforce. We urgently need a coherent strategy that puts a clear focus on the 98% of businesses that are small, that are indigenous, and are substantially contributing to our economy. The OECD last year has recommended the introduction of a small business and entrepreneurship strategy, and we need the new government to finally see this through. Our second ask is around the cost of doing business. And the government must tackle finally and resolutely the rising insurance costs. The new government must combat the substantial increase in employer and public liability insurance and any related legal costs, but also help small businesses in the hospitality and childcare sectors who need assistance to actually access insurance. We also face massive wage pressures. We need to recognize the need to reconcile pay demands with threats to competitiveness, and we need to stop the increase in minimum wage. We realize that from the 1st of February, the minimum wage in this country will go up to €10.10, which will bring it to the second highest level in the European Union. We also must fundamentally reform commercial rates, and we have to alleviate the administrative burden on small businesses. Our third demand focuses on taxation and the general tax environment in this country. We finally must see that the earned income tax credit increases to the same level as the PAYE tax credit. We also must see a reduction in the capital gains tax to a level of 20%, and we need an increase in the lifetime limit for CGT entrepreneur relief to €15 million. We also need the new government to simplify the procedure for research and development tax credit, and finally, we must introduce a tax relief for non-domiciled new hires by small businesses. In terms of future of work, there are 3 different areas we need to look at. One is infrastructure, and infrastructure encompasses childcare, housing, and transport links, as well as broadband. We also need to look at upskilling. We need to provide sufficient training in leadership, digital readiness, and financial management skills. And we also need to look at financial literacy and how we can address this issue. Public procurement is also an important issue. Small businesses need to have better access to public contracts. We need more transparency on the system, and we need to see why small businesses in certain cases were unsuccessful and find a way to appeal this. All public bodies need to develop a doing business with us strategy. This could be a portal or a site with information how to secure a public procurement contract, which can be easily delivered through e-tenders. We also need to see that small business owners care about the environment and have already begun to take steps to reduce their emissions and encourage positive environmental behavior within their business. However, more needs to be done, and small firms must think ahead to how they can become more sustainable in the coming months and years. There's a commitment by government and European policymakers to tackle climate change. For small firms to accelerate their contribution, it is essential that government creates the conditions for small firms to reduce emissions and move to a circular economy. In that context, government must set clear and definite environmental targets, policies, and incentives to help small businesses so they have enough time in the transition to a low-carbon economy. And we need to provide small businesses with additional state supports to identify and exploit opportunities from the green economy as they emerge. So you can see we have 5 clear different asks. The first ask was the National SME and Entrepreneurship Strategy. The second, tackle the ever-rising cost of doing business. The third, taxation and create a better tax environment for small businesses. Encourage small businesses to embrace the future of work is the 4th pillar of our election manifesto, and climate change. The contribution of small businesses needs to be recognized, but also the incentives have to be right. Now I'm going to ask of you, during your election campaign, ask your local candidate for their views on their own small business priorities. We have created a hub on the SFA website where you can access all information that you need in order to contact your local candidate for TD. Use the hashtag SFA for small business and share the information on Twitter and LinkedIn or on any other social media channel. Contact us if you need more information. Contact us if you want to discuss some of the content I've just mentioned today, and contact us in general for any questions that you might have. Thank you so much for listening, and best of luck.